Hello and welcome. I am so glad you decided to spend some time with me today. You are listening to TrueGritEnglish. This is a place where we talk about life, growth, and the power of a strong mind. We share new videos every single day to help you improve your English and your life at the same time. If you find these words helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel. It is a small act, but it helps us very much. Now, take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders. Let the world outside wait for a moment. Today, we are going to talk about something very special. We are going to talk about the magic of being alone. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine you are in a quiet room. There is no television. There is no radio. Your phone is in another room. It is just you and the quiet air. How does that make you feel? For some people, this idea is wonderful. It feels like peace. But for many people, this idea is very scary. They feel a sense of worry. They feel like they are missing out on something. They feel like they are losing time. In our world today, we are always connected. We are always talking. We are always looking at screens. We have forgotten how to just be. We have forgotten how to sit with ourselves. But there is a big secret I want to share with you. Being alone is not a bad thing. In fact, it is one of the most important things you can do for your heart. Many people use the word loneliness when they are by themselves. They think that being alone and being lonely are the same thing. But they are very, very different. Understanding this difference is the first step to finding your true power. Let's look at loneliness first. Loneliness is a heavy feeling. It is a feeling of being empty. When you are lonely, you feel like the world is moving on without you. You feel like you are standing on the outside looking in. You can be in a room full of people at a party and still feel lonely. You can have thousands of friends on the internet and still feel lonely. This is because loneliness is about a lack of connection. It is a feeling that no one really sees you or knows you. It is a cold feeling. No one likes to feel this way. It is natural to want to escape it. But now, let's look at solitude. Solitude is the word we use for the magic of being alone. Solitude does not feel cold. It feels warm. It feels like a choice. When you practice solitude, you are not alone because you have no friends. You are alone because you want to spend time with yourself. You are the guest of honor in your own life. Solitude is like a deep breath for your soul. It is a time to rest. It is a time to think. It is a time to remember who you are when no one is watching you. Do you feel sad when you are alone, or do you feel free? Think about that for a moment. This is a very important question. Many of us spend our whole lives trying to be what other people want. We are good workers for our bosses. We are good parents for our children. We are good friends for our neighbors. We wear many different masks every day, but when you are alone, you can take the masks off. You don't have to be anything for anyone. You can just be. When you are alone, you start to see yourself clearly. It is like looking into a mirror for the first time in a long time. At first, it might feel strange. You might notice things you don't like. You might hear thoughts that make you uncomfortable. This is why people run away from the quiet. They are afraid of what they will find inside their own minds. But I want to tell you that there is nothing to fear. Everything you find inside yourself is a part of your story. And your story is beautiful. Think about a busy street in a big city. There are cars honking. People are shouting. There are bright lights everywhere. It is hard to hear your own voice on a street like that. Our lives are often like that busy street. There is so much noise from the world. There is so much advice from other people. There is so much pressure to be successful or to look a certain way. If you never leave that busy street, you will lose your own voice. You will forget what you actually believe. You will forget what you actually love. Solitude is like stepping off that busy street and walking into a quiet forest. In the forest, the air is clean. The sounds are soft. In the forest, you can finally hear yourself think. You can hear the small, quiet voice inside you that knows the truth. That voice is your true self. It is your intuition. It is your spirit. But that voice is very shy. It will not shout. It will not compete with the noise of the world. It will only speak when things are quiet. I remember a time in my life when I was very busy. I was working long hours. I was always meeting friends. I was always on my phone. I thought I was happy because I was never alone. But inside, I felt very tired. I felt like I was running a race, but I didn't know where the finish line was. One weekend, I decided to go away by myself. I went to a small house near the water. I had no internet. I had no plans. For the first few hours, I felt very nervous. I kept checking my pocket for my phone. I felt bored. I felt like I was wasting my time. But then, something changed. I sat by the water and just watched the waves. I watched the birds. I started to notice the smell of the salt in the air. My mind started to slow down. I began to remember things from my childhood that I had forgotten. I started to think about what I really wanted for my future, not what others wanted for me. By the end of that weekend, I didn't feel lonely at all. I felt full. I felt like I had found a long-lost friend. That friend was me. This is what I want for you. I want you to see that you are a person worth knowing. You are interesting. You have deep thoughts and big dreams. But you will never know those dreams if you are always running. You need to stop. You need to sit. You need to be. We often think that being alone is a sign of failure. We think it means we are not popular or loved. But the opposite is true. The most powerful people in the world are often those who know how to be alone. They are not afraid of the silence. They use the silence to build their strength. They use the silence to plan their next move. They know that their energy is a gift, and they don't want to waste it on things that don't matter. In the next part of our talk, we will look at why the world makes it so hard for us to be alone. We will talk about the noise of our modern lives and how to turn it down. But for now, just think about the difference between being lonely and being in solitude. One is a cage. The other is a key. One makes you feel small. The other makes you feel giant. You are not losing anything by spending time alone. You are gaining yourself back. You are recharging your heart. You are clearing the clouds from your mind. It is a brave thing to do. In a world that never stops talking, choosing to be silent is an act of courage. As we move forward, try to be kind to yourself. If being alone feels hard right now, that is okay. It is a skill like any other. You have to practice it. You have to learn how to enjoy your own company. But I promise you, it is worth the effort. Once you find the magic of solitude, you will never feel truly lonely again. Because no matter where you go, you will always have yourself. And that is the best companion you could ever ask for. Let's take a moment to just sit with that idea. Let it sink in. You are enough, just as you are, right here in the quiet. Now, let's think about the things that keep us from this peace. Let's look at the noise of the world. So, we know that solitude is a gift. We know that it is different from being lonely. But if it is such a wonderful gift, why do we avoid it? Why is it so hard for us to just sit in a chair and do nothing for 10 minutes? If you look around, you will see that almost everyone is running away from the quiet. We live in a world that is very, very loud. I'm not just talking about the sound of cars or machines. I am talking about the noise of information. I am talking about the noise of other people's lives. Think about your average day. From the moment you wake up, the noise begins. Most of us reach for our phones before we even get out of bed. We check our messages. We look at the news. We scroll through social media to see what people we barely know had for breakfast. In those first few minutes of the day, we have already filled our heads with 1,000 different thoughts that are not our own. We have invited the whole world into our bedroom before we have even said good morning to ourselves. This is a very strange way to live, but it has become normal for almost everyone. We have a tiny computer in our pockets at all times. This computer is designed to catch our attention. It buzzes. It rings. It shows us bright colors and exciting videos. Every time your phone makes a sound, your brain jumps. It is like a tiny alarm going off all day long. This constant connection makes us feel important, but it also makes us feel very tired. We feel like we must be available to everyone at every hour. If we don't reply to a message in 5 minutes, we feel guilty. If we don't know the latest news story, we feel left behind. This is the digital noise that follows us everywhere. It is a wall of sound that keeps us from being alone with our own minds. But there is a deeper reason why we keep the noise turned up so high. It is the fear of boredom. We have become used to being stimulated every single second. If we are standing in line at the grocery store, we look at our phones. If we are waiting for a friend, we look at our phones. We have lost the ability to just wait. We have lost the ability to look at the world around us and just observe. Boredom feels like a waste of time to us. We think that if we are not doing something, we are not being productive. We think that every minute must be filled with a task or a distraction. I noticed something very interesting the other day. I was standing in an elevator in a tall building. There were 4 other people in the elevator with me. It was a very short ride. Maybe it was only 20 or 30 seconds. As soon as the doors closed, every single person in that elevator pulled out their phone. No one looked at each other. No one looked at the lights or the floor. Everyone stared at a small screen. It was like they were afraid of 20 seconds of silence. They were afraid to just stand there and be human for half a minute. It made me realize how much we use our devices as a shield. We use them to protect ourselves from the present moment. We use them to avoid the eyes of strangers, but we also use them to avoid our own thoughts. Why are we so afraid of the silence? Usually, it is because when the world gets quiet, our inner voice gets loud. When you are busy, you don't have to listen to your own feelings. You don't have to think about the things that make you sad or the things that make you worried. You can just keep moving. You can drown out your worries with music, or videos, or work. We use noise as a way to hide from ourselves. We think that if we don't hear the problem is not there. But that is not true. Your feelings are like a child. If a child is crying and you just turn up the television, the child does not stop being sad. The child just feels ignored. Eventually, the child will scream even louder to get your attention. Our hearts are the same way. When we avoid the quiet, we are ignoring our own hearts. We are running away from our own lives. We spend so much energy trying to be busy that we have no energy left to actually live. This is why so many people feel burned out. They are not just tired from work. They are tired from running away from themselves. They are tired of the constant noise that never lets them rest. Take a deep breath. I want you to think about something for a moment. What is the very first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Do you look at the window? Do you feel the blankets on your skin? Or do you reach for that screen? There is no wrong answer here. I just want you to notice the habit. Think about how much of your day is filled with the voices of other people. Think about how often you allow yourself to just be bored. Many of us think that being busy is the same as being successful. We wear our busyness like a badge of honor. We tell people, "I am so busy, I have no time for anything." We say this because we want to feel important. But being busy is not a virtue. If you are too busy to spend 10 minutes alone with your own mind, you are not successful. You are a prisoner of your own schedule. You are a passenger in a car that someone else is driving. When we finally choose to turn off the noise, it can feel very uncomfortable at first. It can feel like an itch you cannot scratch. Your brain will tell you that you are wasting time. It will tell you to check your email or watch a video. It will try to pull you back into the noise. This is normal. It is like training a muscle that has not been used in a long time. At first, the muscle is weak and it hurts. But if you keep going, the muscle gets stronger. The quiet starts to feel less like a threat and more like a home. When you stop running from the quiet, you start to see that the quiet is not empty. The quiet is actually full of things. It is full of ideas. It is full of memories. It is full of the simple beauty of the world. When you are not looking at a screen, you might notice the way the light hits the wall. You might notice the sound of the wind in the trees. You might notice a feeling of peace that you haven't felt in years. This is the reward for being brave enough to face the silence. We spend so much time looking at the lives of others on the internet. We compare our behind the scenes with their highlight reel. This makes us feel like we are not enough. It makes us feel like we need to do more and buy more. But in the quiet, all of those comparisons disappear. In the quiet, you are just you. You are enough exactly as you are. You don't need to prove anything to the silence. It doesn't care how much money you make or how many followers you have. It just wants you to be present. So, as we move through our day, let's try to notice the noise. Let's try to notice when we are using our phones to hide from a quiet moment. Let's try to be a little bit more like the person who looks at the world and a little bit less like the person who only looks at the screen. It is in these small moments of quiet that we start to find our true power. In the next part of our talk, we will explore what happens when we finally embrace this quiet. We will talk about how solitude can act as a battery for your life. We will look at how your mind clears up, just like muddy water becomes clear when it sits still. But for now, just think about the noise in your life. Think about where you can find just one small pocket of silence today. You don't need a whole hour. You just need a few minutes to stop running. Let yourself be bored for a moment. Let yourself be quiet. You might be surprised by what you hear when the world stops talking. Now, let's talk about how this quiet can actually give you more energy than 1,000 cups of coffee. Let's talk about finding your true power. Now that we have talked about the noise of the world, let's talk about something much more positive. Let's talk about your energy. Think about your life like it is a battery. Every day, you use that battery. You use it when you talk to your boss. You use it when you drive in traffic. You use it when you worry about your bills or when you help a friend with their problems. By the end of the day, most of us feel like our battery is at 5%. We feel weak. We feel tired. We feel like we have nothing left to give. What do you do when your phone battery is low? You don't keep using it. You don't try to make it work harder. No, you plug it into a wall. You let it sit quietly and drink the electricity. Humans are exactly the same way. We need to plug ourselves into a quiet outlet to get our energy back. For most of us, that quiet outlet is solitude. Being alone is how we recharge our true energy. It is how we fill our hearts back up so we can face the world again tomorrow. Some people think that they get energy from being around others. We call these people extroverts. And it is true, being with friends can be fun. It can be exciting. But even the most social person in the world eventually needs to be alone. Why? Because when we are with others, we are always giving something. We are giving our attention. We are giving our words. We are giving our emotions. Even if you are having a great time, you are still spending your energy. Solitude is the only time when you are not giving. It is the only time when you are just receiving. You are receiving peace. You are receiving rest. I want you to imagine a glass of water. Now, imagine that someone has put a handful of dirt into that water and stirred it with a spoon. The water is brown. It is cloudy. You cannot see through it. This is what your mind looks like when you are busy and stressed. Your thoughts are moving fast. Your worries are spinning around. You cannot see the truth because everything is too messy. You cannot make good decisions because the water is muddy. Now, think about what happens if you just set that glass of water down on a table. You don't do anything to it. You don't try to clean it. You just let it sit there in the quiet. What happens? Slowly, the dirt starts to sink to the bottom. Grain by grain, the mud falls away. The water at the top becomes clear again. After a while, the water is so clear that you can see right through it to the other side. This is what happens to your mind when you spend time in solitude. You don't have to fix your thoughts. You don't have to solve your problems. You just have to sit still. When you sit still, the mud of your life settles down. Your mind becomes clear. You start to see things as they really are. You realize that some of the things you were worried about are not actually a big deal. You find the answers that were hiding under all that noise. Have you ever had a great idea while you were taking a shower? Or maybe when you were walking to your car? Think about that for a second. Why does that happen? It's not because the shower is magic. It's because the shower is one of the few places where we are truly alone. We aren't looking at our phones. We aren't talking to anyone. Our minds are finally free to wander. This is the power of a quiet mind. When you give your brain some space, it starts to work for you in amazing ways. It starts to connect different ideas. It starts to create new things. This is where creativity comes from. It doesn't come from working hard at a desk. It comes from the quiet moments in between the work. Creativity is like a bird. If you are loud and busy, the bird will stay away. It is too scared to come near you. But if you are quiet and still, the bird might land on your shoulder. It might sing you a beautiful song. Many of the greatest writers, artists, and thinkers in history knew this. They spent hours and hours alone every day. They knew that their best work came from the silence. They knew that if they wanted to do something great, they had to leave the crowd behind. But solitude is not just for artists. It is for everyone. It is for the mother who needs 5 minutes of peace. It is for the student who is tired of studying. It is for the worker who feels like just another number in a machine. When you find your true energy in solitude, you become a different person. You become more confident. You don't need other people to tell you that you are doing a good job because you already know who you are. You don't get angry as easily because your battery is full and you have the strength to stay calm. I like to think of my mind as a garden. If I am always busy, the garden gets messy. Weeds grow everywhere. The flowers get stepped on. But when I spend time alone, it is like I am walking through my garden with a pair of scissors. I pull out the weeds of worry. I water the flowers of my dreams. I make the space beautiful again. If I never spend time alone, my garden becomes a jungle. I get lost in it. But when I practice solitude, I am the master of my own garden. I know every path. I know every tree. I feel at home inside my own head. Take a deep breath. Can you feel that energy? It is not a loud, shaking energy like a cup of coffee. It is a soft, steady energy. It is the energy of a mountain. A mountain does not move. It does not shout. It just stands there, strong and tall. When you spend time in solitude, you become a little bit more like that mountain. The wind can blow. The rain can fall. But you are steady. You are grounded. You have found your true center. Many people spend their whole lives looking for happiness outside of themselves. They think a new car will make them happy. They think a new relationship will make them happy. They think a better job will fix everything. But these things are like shadows. They change and they disappear. The only true happiness is the one you find inside yourself. And the only way to find it is to be alone long enough to see it. You have so much power inside you. You have so much wisdom. But you have to be quiet enough to hear it. You have to be brave enough to turn off the world and turn on your own light. It might feel strange at first, but I promise you, it is the most beautiful feeling in the world. It feels like coming home after a very long trip. It feels like finally being allowed to rest. As we move into the next part of our talk, I want you to start thinking about how you can do this in your own life. You don't need to move to a cabin in the woods. You don't need to quit your job. You just need to find small ways to be alone in your daily life. We are going to talk about simple, practical steps you can take starting today. We will look at how to build a solitude habit that works for you, even if you are very busy. But for now, just sit with this idea of clear water. Feel your battery starting to charge. You are doing something very important right now just by listening and thinking. You are giving yourself permission to be still. And that is where the magic begins. Let's think about how we can make this magic a part of our real, everyday lives. Let's look at some simple ways to practice solitude. We have talked about the ideas behind solitude. We have talked about the noise and the energy. But now, I want to give you something you can use. I want to talk about the how. How do we actually practice being alone in a world that never stops moving? You do not need to move to a cabin in the mountains. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars on a retreat. You can find the magic of solitude right where you are. You just need to make a little bit of space. The easiest way to start is with your morning. Think about those first few minutes after you open your eyes. This is the most important time of your day. It is the gate to your mind. For many of us, as soon as we wake up, we let the whole world come inside. We check our emails. We look at social media. We read about problems in other countries. Before we have even put our feet on the floor, our minds are heavy. Try a different way tomorrow. When you wake up, leave your phone in the other room. Or keep it turned off for just 10 minutes. Make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Sit in a chair near a window. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to do anything special. Just sit there and drink your tea. Look at the sky. Notice how the light is changing. Listen to the birds or the sound of the wind. This is a very small act, but it is very powerful. You are telling yourself that you are the most important person in your life. You are giving yourself a quiet start. This small ritual acts like a shield. It protects your peace for the rest of the day. Have you ever tried going for a walk by yourself? I don't mean a walk where you are listening to music or a podcast. I mean a walk where it is just you and the world. Many people find this very hard. They feel like they need to be doing something productive. They feel like they need to be learning or listening to something. But I want to challenge you to try a silent walk. Go to a park or just walk around your neighborhood. Leave your headphones at home. When you walk in silence, you start to see things you never noticed before. You notice the shape of the leaves on a tree. You notice the smell of the air after it rains. You notice the way people walk and talk. Your brain starts to relax. It stops trying to process information and starts to just observe. This is called active solitude. It is a way to be alone while being out in the world. It reminds you that you are a part of nature. It reminds you that life is happening all around you, even when you aren't looking at a screen. What about a solo date? This is a very fun way to practice solitude. A solo date is when you take yourself out to do something you love. Have you ever gone to a movie alone? Have you ever sat in a cafe and had a meal by yourself? At first, this might feel very uncomfortable. You might think that everyone is looking at you. You might think they are saying, "Look at that person, they have no friends." But I have a secret for you. Most people are not looking at you. They are thinking about their own lives. They are thinking about their own problems. When you go on a solo date, you learn how to be your own best friend. You can see the movie you want to see. You can eat the food you like. You can stay as long as you want, or you can leave early. You are in total control. It builds a great sense of confidence. You realize that you don't need someone else to have a good time. You are enough to make yourself happy. Let's talk about another simple tool, journaling. You don't have to be a great writer to do this. You just need a notebook and a pen. Every day, or maybe a few times a week, sit down and write for 5 minutes. Don't worry about your grammar. Don't worry about your spelling. Just write down what is in your head. Write about what made you happy today. Write about what made you frustrated. Write about a dream you had. Journaling is like a meeting with yourself. It is a way to see your thoughts on paper. Sometimes, we have a worry that feels giant when it is inside our heads. But when we write it down, it looks small. It looks like something we can handle. Writing helps you understand who you are. It helps you see your own growth. It is a very private and very beautiful way to spend time alone. Now, I want to talk about something that is very hard for many people. It is the power of the word no. Sometimes, practicing solitude means you have to say no to other people. Your friends might ask you to go to a party. Your family might want you to visit. These are good things, and it is good to be with people. But if your battery is empty, you cannot give them your best self. It is okay to say, "I would love to see you, but tonight I need to stay home and rest." You are not being mean. You are not being selfish. You are setting a boundary. You are protecting your energy. If you always say yes to others, you are saying no to yourself. Learning to say no is a very important part of growing up. It shows that you value your own time. It shows that you respect your own needs. Take a moment to think about your schedule for tomorrow. Is there one small place where you can find 10 minutes of solitude? Maybe it is during your lunch break. Maybe it is right after you get home from work. Maybe it is before you go to sleep. You don't need a lot of time. You just need a little bit of consistency. I want you to imagine yourself doing one of these things. Imagine yourself sitting with your tea. Imagine yourself walking in the park. Imagine yourself writing in a notebook. How does it feel? Does it feel peaceful? Does it feel a little bit scary? Both of those feelings are okay. The fear is just because it is new. The peace is because your soul knows this is what it needs. Practicing solitude is like planting a garden. You cannot expect a forest to grow overnight. You have to plant the seeds. You have to water them every day. Some days, it will feel like nothing is happening. But slowly, the trees will grow. The flowers will bloom. One day, you will look back and realize that you have created a beautiful, quiet place inside yourself. A place you can go whenever life gets too loud. In the final part of our talk, we will look at the big picture. We will talk about how being alone actually makes you a better person for others. We will see how solitude makes your relationships stronger and your love deeper. Because when you know how to be alone, you bring a much better version of yourself to the world. But for now, just think about those simple steps. Pick one, just one. Maybe tomorrow morning, you will leave your phone in the other room. Maybe tomorrow at lunch, you will take a short walk in silence. Start small. Be patient with yourself. You are learning a new way to live. You are discovering the magic that has been inside you all along. Let's take a deep breath together. Feel the space you are creating for yourself. It is a good space. It is a safe space. Now, let's see how this quiet time changes the way we treat the people we love. Let's look at the final piece of the puzzle. We have spent a lot of time today looking inward. We have talked about your mind, your energy, and your habits. But you might be wondering about something else. You might be thinking, if I spend all this time alone, what happens to my relationships? Will my friends think I am boring? Will my family feel like I don't love them? This is a very common worry. Some people think that solitude is selfish. They think that being alone means you are turning your back on the world. But I want to tell you that the opposite is true. Spending time alone is one of the best things you can do for the people you love. Think about a person who is always busy. Think about a friend who is always running from one place to another. They are always on their phone. They are always stressed. When you talk to them, they aren't really listening. They are looking over your shoulder. They are thinking about the next thing they have to do. Even though they are sitting right in front of you, they are not really there. Their cup is empty. They have no peace to share with you because they have no peace inside themselves. Now, think about the person who practices solitude. This person has spent time in the quiet. They have recharged their battery. They have listened to their own thoughts. When this person sits down with you for a cup of coffee, they are fully present. They don't need to check their phone every 2 minutes. They are not worried about what they are missing. Because they have spent time alone, they feel full. They have more patience. They have more kindness. They have more space in their heart to listen to your story. You cannot pour from an empty cup. This is a simple truth, but it is very deep. To be a good friend, a good partner, or a good parent, you must first be good to yourself. Solitude is how you fill that cup. When you come back from your time alone, you bring a gift back to your loved ones. You bring back a version of yourself that is calm and strong. You are not just reacting to the world anymore. You are acting with purpose. Solitude also changes the way we look at other people. When we are afraid to be alone, we often use people to escape our own boredom. We go to parties just so we don't have to stay home. We stay in relationships that aren't good for us just because we are afraid of the silence. This is not a healthy way to live. It puts a lot of pressure on other people. It makes them responsible for our happiness. But when you are happy being alone, that pressure disappears. When you know how to be alone, you don't need people in a desperate way. Instead, you want them there. There is a big difference between needing someone and wanting them. When you want to be with someone, the relationship is much more beautiful. You are with them because you truly value them, not because you are running away from yourself. This makes your connections deeper. It makes your love more honest. You are two whole people walking together, rather than two half people trying to pull from each other. I want you to think about yourself as your own best friend. We often treat our friends much better than we treat ourselves. We say kind things to them. We listen to their problems. We give them time to rest. But with ourselves, we are often very hard. We tell ourselves to work harder. We tell ourselves to be better. We don't give ourselves any space. But imagine if you treated yourself like someone you truly loved. Imagine if you said, I really care about you, so I am going to give you 10 minutes of quiet today. Imagine if you took yourself on a walk just because you wanted to enjoy the fresh air. This is the heart of solitude. It is an act of friendship toward yourself. And when you are a good friend to yourself, you become a much better friend to everyone else. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening to these words. By listening to this, you have already started your journey into the magic of solitude. You have chosen to slow down. You have chosen to think about your life in a new way. This is a very brave thing to do. Many people will go through their whole lives and never stop to think about these things. But you are different. You are looking for something deeper. Remember that life is short. It is too short to spend every second in the noise. It is too short to spend your whole life trying to be what everyone else wants you to be. You have a beautiful world inside your mind. You have a garden that is waiting for you to visit. Don't be afraid of the quiet. Don't be afraid of the silence. The silence is not your enemy. The silence is your teacher. It is your home. Tonight, before you go to sleep, try to find just a few minutes for yourself. Put your phone away. Turn off the lights. Just sit in the dark for a moment and listen to your own breath. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. Notice how it feels to just be alive. You don't have to solve any problems. You don't have to plan for tomorrow. You just have to be there with yourself. In that moment, you will find a small spark of peace. That spark is the magic we have been talking about. Keep that spark with you. Protect it. Let it grow. The more you visit the quiet, the more that spark will turn into a steady light. That light will guide you through the busy streets. It will guide you through the hard days. It will show you the way back to your true self. At TrueGritEnglish, we believe in the strength of the mind and the warmth of the heart. We believe that learning a language is not just about words. It is about understanding life. It is about connecting with yourself and the world. We are here every day to support you on this journey. If you enjoyed this talk, please come back and join us again. We would love to have you. Take this peace with you as you move into the rest of your day or into your sleep. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with your thoughts. You are doing a great job. You are a person of value. You are enough, just as you are, right now, in the silence. The world will always be there. The noise will always be waiting. But you now have the key. You know how to find the exit. You know how to find the magic. Go forward with confidence. Go forward with love. The power of alone.